Welcome to my channel, Shell of a Shop Boutique. My name is Sam and I'm so glad you guys are here today. Today's project is taking a regular pegboard and elevating it into a work of art while providing you awesome storage on whatever spool type craft you could have, whether you have sewing thread. I'm using it for embroidery thread, but I'm really excited, so I can't wait to show you guys. Let's go make it right now. To get started, you're going to want to protect your work surface, so I'm using silicone mats, and then you're going to break out your chalked up paint. Chalked up paint is from shop.auntietay.com. If you're an Auntie Tay member, you get a discount on this amazing paint. If you're not a member, you can use my code Shell of a Shop Boutique to save 10%. But I'm using the color Ellie and a foam brush to paint the background of the pegboard, which is pretty difficult with all the holes, but you know, it's got to get done. And the chalked up paint sticks on really well to the pegboard. Pegboard is kind of a weird texture, and if you use like acrylic paint, you might have a harder time getting it to stick. It might take a lot more coats, but the chalked up paint works amazing, and I knew that with what I will be using it for tools and storage and stuff like that, I wanted it to be heavy duty, and chalked up paint is heavy duty. So I'm just going and painting most of the background with Ellie, and then I am going to break out galvanized to add some more definition. Make sure you shake up your paint, do a little dance, have fun with it while you're going. Now I'm using a big paintbrush and I'm just putting in lines. I kind of wanted to give it some texture, not like physical texture, like visual texture. So I wanted to put in these lines. I kind of smeared it in with Ellie. The paint was still wet, so I kind of just smeared it in, blended it together. I didn't really know what I was going for. I was just going for it. And I really love these grays. They are my absolute favorite, galvanized and Ellie, but this just wasn't what I was vibing with, and I knew I wanted to paint flowers, so I did this as a background, and then I decided to switch to some greens. So this is what it looks like, but I'm adding more to it. I am using fern, and I'm using the same technique that I used with galvanized, where I'm just kind of filling in the lines in between the holes, not trying to paint it anything solid, just trying to give it some texture and some visual interest. And it was just a lot easier than trying to repaint the whole thing, because I still liked the grays in there. I just didn't want it to be so much gray. And then, fun fact, my favorite color is blue. Is there any blue in my branding? No. But I've been slowly trying to incorporate it more and more using teals, and the chalked up paint color teal is this gorgeous dark teal color that I think looks so good with fern. So that's how I've been adding my favorite color in, because I do love like the tealish blues more. I love that green with it. Then going back and forth between fern and teal, I filled in more color over top of the grays, and I really liked how it turned out. I thought it gave it a lot of definition and character, and yeah, it's just one of a kind. Then I went in with, it's really hard to tell, but I went in with blushing. It looks white, but it's actually a very, very light pink. It's gorgeous, especially when you use a lot of it. I just knew I wanted to do pink flowers to match my branding, and so I started with blushing, kind of mapped out where I wanted the flowers, then using Coral Kiss and Flamingo, I went right in while the paint was wet and smeared it all in just trying to fill in the gaps. I have been practicing painting roses for a while now, and sometimes I'll just switch up the way I do my technique. It really depends on what color's on my brush and if I like the look of the flower. It's really not a good technique because I'm not consistent with it, but I love how they turn out, and I love painting because you just let it go. So I'm gonna show you how I do it in real time. So I filled it in with my main color, which is flamingo in this one. I didn't want any like straight up flamingo, so that's why I made sure I still had colors from, you know, my brush on there, like blushing and coral kiss on there. And you just want to go in rounded strokes, you know, kind of like half moon curves. It's a petal, so I just do swishes back and forth with a little curve to it. And then I take flamingo, the solid color, and go in thicker, trying to get more of that color to pop. I go in and make a little circle for like the center of the bud, and then I leave gaps in between to make it look like, you know, the layers of the rose. And I just fill it in where I think it needs it. I like it when I do a medium color for the background, then go in with a darker color like I'm doing now, and then when I'm done with the darker color, I go in and highlight on top. And I just normally go, you know, along the edges of the petals I already did or in between them, just to kind of highlight those spots. You know, like if the light was hitting the flower, it wouldn't be in the same spot exactly where the dark part was. So you try to layer it in between, and that's just kind of my chaotic technique that I don't do consistently. But this is how it looked after the one layer of flowers, but I needed to add more, so I did. But first I added leaves onto a couple flowers using fern and teal again, and I just wanted to do this so that when I layer on the next flowers that, you know, it gives it depth and it doesn't look like I added the leaves in later. So just adding in a couple leaves, and leaves I'm not really fancy with either. I just kind of make, you know, a leaf shape, and then sometimes I highlight them, sometimes I don't. I wasn't really picky with this piece. And sometimes I did fern, sometimes I did teal, and sometimes I mix them together. I don't like washing my paintbrushes in between when I do flower paintings. And now you can see I'm doing my base for the next round of flowers, and I just love it that much more. It really looks like this is just a, you know, luscious, full, happy garden, and I love it. And I actually think my favorite colored flowers are the mix of Coral Kiss and the Flamingo. I just really love those ones the most. I don't know why. So find colors that you love, and don't be afraid to mix colors, because that's when I found some of my favorite ones, because they create this gorgeous peachy pink, and I'm just obsessed with it. And don't forget to add in leaves with the second layer too, and all your details as well. And yeah, I'm happy with it. I was very dancey. Painting makes me happy, so, and it makes me want to dance. So this is what it looks like, but not done just yet. I am using a 1/4 inch by 1/8 inch by 16 feet trim. You don't need to use 16 feet long trim, but I am painting it with Onyx, which is the best black paint ever. I absolutely love it. And I just wanted to do a frame around my pegboard to really elevate it. And then after I was done painting that, I cut these dowels. They are a 1/4 inch by 48 inches, and I cut them down to be a little bit longer than my embroidery thread spools. So based on whatever size of spools you have, cut them just a little bit longer. I didn't care if it showed at the end because I wanted them to be secure on there, since they're sticking straight out, you know, they're not tilted any which way. And then I painted them using fern because I wanted it to blend in. I was really cautious of the very end of the dowel, making sure that one end was painted really well, and then the other one didn't really matter because it was going to be glued into the pegboard. And I just painted them one at a time. Off camera, I just glued on the frame. Now I'm seeing where I want to put my hoops so that I know where I can put my thread. And I just took the pegs and put them in with a hot glue gun into the pegs. They fit really well in the pegboard. The dowels did. They fit perfectly, especially with a little bit of paint in it. And I put them far enough that my spools would fit. So that's how it looked before it was all organized, and here it is. I hope you guys love it.